Welcome back to the deep dive. We're really trying to cut through all the noise and find those insights that, truly matter. Today we're diving deep into something that, well, it touches every single one of us every day. The power of choice.
That's right. And we've been looking at excerpts from a really fascinating new book. It's called Choose to Be Your Own Champion by Doris Hornstein, and it's published by Morgan James Publishing.
Okay.
It offers this framework and some really deeply personal stories, actually, to help us understand the choices we make.
Right.
And maybe more importantly, how we can make better ones for ourselves, how to actively shape things.
So think of this deep dive as like a mission. We're trying to uncover a kind of roadmap for navigating life's decisions, the big ones and the small ones.
Exactly.
We're going to unpack some core ideas from this material you shared, look at some practical steps, and here's some anecdotes that are just incredibly relatable. Really get into what it means to, well, champion your own choices.
Well, the central idea the book presents is it's simple on the surface, but honestly, it can be really challenging for people to fully embrace.
Okay, what is it?
It's this. You are the product of your choices.
Okay, let's unpack that for a second.
Yeah.
Because, for some people listening, that sentence might feel, I don't know, less like empowerment and maybe more like a bit of a slap, Especially if you feel like life hasn't exactly gone to plan, or maybe things have felt like they were done to you, not by you.
Precisely. And the source material is very upfront about that reaction. It acknowledges that feeling like nails on a chalkboard, is how it puts it.
Huh. Nails on a chalkboard.
But the invitation isn't to just ignore that discomfort. It's actually to sit with it, to kind of walk through it.
Right.
The book suggests that facing that truth, however uncomfortable, is really the necessary first step. It's how you gain self-awareness, maybe shed some limiting beliefs, and ultimately cultivate more positive feelings and, well, agency.
So it's not just stating a tough idea, it's offering a way through it.
Exactly. It presents this structured process, almost like a playbook, it calls it, to guide you through that journey of acceptance and hopefully change.
Okay, a playbook. And this roadmap, this playbook, is built around an acronym, right? CHOOSE.
That's the one. CHOOSE. It breaks the journey down into these distinct steps: clarity, honor, openness, oneness, strategy, and enactment.
CHOOSE.
Got it. And it's designed to be, step by step. It blends practical, actionable things you can do with these very personal, very human stories.
So it feels more like a conversation.
Yeah, that seems to be the aim, like talking with a trusted friend, guiding you towards figuring out what success and championship look like in your own life, not some external definition.
Okay, let's jump into that first step then. C is for clarity.
Yes, clarity. And this is really all about understanding yourself, your patterns, and the internal forces that are at play when you face a choice. The book introduces a concept here I found really insightful: saboteurs.
Saboteurs. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. These aren't external bad guys.
No, they're described as internal critics. But what's fascinating is how the book says they often misuse our own inherent strengths. They turn them against us.
How so?
Well, it leads to stress, unhappiness, that harsh self-judgment we all do sometimes. And it can genuinely hurt our relationships and even our productivity.
Okay, examples.
Sure. The sources list things like the avoider, someone who wants peace, maybe, but uses that to shy away from necessary conflict, which just, keeps dysfunction going.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Or the pleaser, someone who really cares but misuses that by constantly needing validation from others, which just builds up resentment inside.
Right. At their own expense.
Exactly. Or the restless type. Maybe naturally curious, but it becomes this constant need for stimulation that, well, it sabotages focus and deep connections.
So what this really means then, it's recognizing how your own good intentions or your natural talents can actually become obstacles.
Yes, when they get filtered through these saboteur patterns, like being super responsible could turn into a controller saboteur where you just can't let go or delegate.
Or being really analytical might become, hyper-rational. Blocking emotional connection.
Precisely. The book really emphasizes that just becoming aware of your main saboteur, just naming that inner critic, is a massive first step.
Just the awareness.
It's the crucial first step, to reclaiming control over your reactions and, ultimately your happiness. It really challenges you, the reader, to identify which one feels most familiar.
But clarity isn't only about the negative stuff, the saboteurs.
No, definitely not. It's also about tapping into what the book calls sage powers. These are like the positive counterparts.
Sage powers, okay.
And one that's discussed is the power to empathize, critically, to empathize with yourself.
Ah, self-empathy. That feels really important. Not letting yourself off the hook, maybe, but understanding.
Understanding without the harsh judgment, yeah.
Mhm.
The idea is that by neutralizing those negative saboteur-driven states, maybe through simple things like intentional breathing or other mental fitness practices it mentions, like PQ reps, you can quiet down that reactive survivor brain.
And activate the sage brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Moving into that sage state opens you up to curiosity, creativity, finding new perspectives, because it actually helps create new neural pathways.
Wow.
So this whole clarity step, it's really about mapping your inner landscape, knowing what trips you up, but also knowing what truly empowers you, seeing yourself clearly so you can start making conscious choices, not just reacting based on old habits or those inner critics.
Makes sense. Laying the foundation. Okay, so after clarity, the H is for honor.
Yes, honor. And this step asks you to listen really deeply, especially to your feelings.
Feelings like intuition.
Kind of. When you're facing a choice, the book poses the question, are you feeling at peace with it, or is there, that knot in your stomach?
Mm-hmm.
Listening to that smallest voice within, as it calls it, is key in this step.
And this brings back empathy again.
It does, yeah. But now as an active choice directed towards yourself and towards others. And the source material makes this really powerful connection to a Hebrew concept, Shmirat Lashon.
Mizat Lashon.
It means guarding of the tongue. Being really conscious, really alert to the power our words have. Words about others, but also the words we use about ourselves.
That self-talk again.
Absolutely. The book mentions studies linking empathy to, well, longer, happier lives, better relationships, even business benefits like job satisfaction and better leadership.
Right.
But again, it's the personal stories that make it stick. There's one about struggling to be patient with a friend or clients admitting they just lack empathy sometimes. And there's this really touching exercise it suggests. Just look at a picture of yourself when you were younger.
Oh, why?
To try and foster that self-empathy, to give that younger version of you the grace and understanding you might easily give to a friend now.
That's quite powerful, actually. Giving your past self some grace.
Isn't it? And honor also delves into choosing to forgive, both yourself and others. And the book doesn't sugarcoat this. It acknowledges how incredibly hard forgiveness can be.
Yeah, I imagine.
There's this really vulnerable story the author shares about falling down the stairs while holding her baby granddaughter.
Oh, wow. No. That sounds absolutely terrifying.
It is. And the feelings she describes of broken trust in herself, the intense fear for the baby's safety, the emotional weight was just immense.
Oh, I can only imagine the self-blame, the guilt.
Exactly. But the turning point, the moment of choosing honor and forgiveness in that story, it comes from her daughter's reaction. Seeing her daughter's forgiveness actually helped pave the way for the author to forgive herself.
So someone else's grace helped her find her own.
It seems so. And the insight she gained was profound. She realized, yes, she fell, but she didn't fail. Her body instinctively protected the baby. That experience fostered this huge amount of self-empathy and helped her accept her fears without letting them completely rule her. It just shows, doesn't it, that self-forgiveness is definitely a choice, but sometimes it needs a catalyst, like external grace or just a shift in perspective.
That makes sense. And forgiving others, is that handled similarly?
With just as much nuance, yeah. There's another relatable story about a social slight, something about a seating arrangement at an event.
Okay. Sounds minor on the surface.
Right. Almost trivial.
Right.
But the hurt, the disappointment, that feeling of needing an apology, it apparently caused this really long rift between friends.
It's often the small things that fester, isn't it?
Totally. And the material describes how holding on to that hurt, letting ego build this wall, it wasn't actually punishing the other person. It was basically imprisoning herself.
Right.
You carry it. You carry it. The book frames forgiveness not as saying the behavior was okay, but as a choice that gives you oxygen for the future. It's about choosing to be free instead of bitter.
Oxygen for the future, I like that.
Me too. And the anecdote ends with her making the difficult choice to call the friends, which led to healing and actually a stronger relationship. It really makes you think, how many hurts are we carrying that are basically over these little things?
A lot, probably. So honor is really about facing those tough emotions, those uncomfortable truths about ourselves and others, and then consciously choosing healing and peace.
That sums it up perfectly. It's like laying that essential emotional groundwork before you can really move forward effectively.
Okay, which leads us to the next steps. O is for openness, and then another O for oneness.
Exactly. Openness and oneness. These are more about expanding your perspective and then really aligning with your true self, your values.
There's so much here too, but maybe we can touch on choosing hope under openness. That feels like it connects back to overcoming those saboteurs.
Yes, definitely. The book draws a really stark contrast between hope and fear.
How so?
It says fear paralyzes, it narrows your vision, makes you defensive, puts you in that survivor brain mode. Hope, on the other hand, is what allows you to believe in possibilities, even when things look impossible.
So it's an active stance.
Very much so. It's described as a kind of mind self-talk, a deliberate internal posture you choose to adopt. It's presented as the direct opposite of fear, and, interestingly, with no negative side effects.
Huh. No negative side effects to hope.
That's the claim. And the material brings in another Hebrew concept here, nikudat mabat, your point of view. The idea is that actively shifting your point of view is key to gaining perspective and deliberately fostering hope, even when circumstances are really tough. It's choosing to look for the possibility, not just dwelling on the problem.
Choosing your point of view. Okay, then we get to S for strategy.
Right. Strategy is about developing your plan of action, recognizing that every choice you make has consequences, ripples that shape your future.
And a concept here that really jumped out at me was choosing to need others. That feels counterintuitive sometimes.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It pushes back hard against that rugged individualist myth, the idea that you have to do it all yourself. The book even links that drive back to the controller saboteur we talked about earlier.
Ah, right. Needing to be in control.
Exactly. So it reframes needing others. It's not weakness. It's actually presented as a sign of strength. It uses analogies like a Virginia Satir quote, comparing needing others to needing hugs for healthy growth.
That's a nice image.
And it backs it up with real examples, like the author needing her family's help with a webinar launch, or a story about coaching a CEO who literally, physically struggled to delegate tasks. He couldn't let go.
Wow. Physically struggled. That shows how deep these patterns run.
It really does. It highlights how difficult it can be, but also the immense value in releasing that control and learning to trust others. The book pulls in wisdom like two are better than one and that African proverb.
Which one?
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Choosing to need others is presented as a strategic choice for going far.
Go far together. I like that.
Ah.
Okay, and then the final letter, E, is for enactment.
Yes. Enactment. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, where choice becomes concrete action.
Because without action.
Right. The book is clear. Without taking actual steps, all the clarity, the honor, the openness, the strategy, it doesn't lead to real results. The author uses her own career transition as an example, taking those concrete steps after making the big scary choice and then feeling that resulting calmness and excitement.
So action brings the peace.
Hi.
And under enactment, there's this idea of resiliency using 4 Ps.
That's right. Perspective, practice, people, and positivity. And resilience itself is defined quite simply as the speed at which you recover from setbacks.
Speed of recovery, not avoiding setbacks, but bouncing back faster.
Exactly. And here's a crucial point the sources make. Awareness is good. Knowing you need to be resilient, that might be, say, 20% of it. But practice, that's the other 80%.
Practice is key.
Far more critical for actually building resilience. It's about taking small, consistent steps to build those resilience muscles before the big challenges hit.
Proactive resilience building.
You got it. And the benefits are huge. Better coping, improved mental and physical health, stronger relationships, more productivity. And P3, people, loops back to needing others. Your support network is vital for practice.
And the book also mentions wholehearted resiliency, activating different chambers of your being.
Yes. Drawing on the author's previous work, it talks about relationships, spirit, perspective. One compelling idea connects the Hebrew word for human, Adam, to the word for champion, Alaf.
Adam and Alaf, how are they connected?
Through the letter Alaf. It suggests that champion capabilities, having a purpose, the ability to choose, it's all innate within us as humans. It's about trusting that inner capacity, trusting the unseen. There's even a Steve Jobs quote mentioned about connecting dots looking backward.
Trusting the unseen. So enactment pulls it all together, taking action, building resilience, tapping into that inner champion.
And moving towards self-actualization, finding that larger purpose. The book uses a parable about building a cathedral to illustrate how choices aligned with a higher purpose contribute something much bigger than just personal gain.
Right. And the framework wraps up by talking about choosing to change.
Yes. Because while change happens to us all the time, that deeper inner transformation, becoming more the person you truly want to be, that's presented as a very personal choice.
It challenges that fixed mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is just who I am.
Completely. It hammers home the idea.
Yeah.
You are a product of your choosing, not just your genes or your upbringing.
And that journey of choosing change, it involves holding on to your vision, your values, but also extending love and empathy, even when things get tough or you meet resistance.
Exactly. There's a beautiful Talmudic phrase used, a candle for one, a light for many. Meaning that when you choose your own path, when you find the light for your own soul, you inevitably illuminate the way for others too. The whole choose framework really is designed to guide you from oi, from difficulty, darkness, struggle,
Joy.
to joy, to light, meaning, and purpose. That's the journey it maps out.
Wow. We've covered a lot. We've taken a really deep dive into just some of the insights from Choose to Be Your Own Champion, exploring how it offers this structured path, CHOOSE, and uses these incredibly honest stories and wisdom traditions to show the real impact of our choices.
Yeah, it's clear that understanding ourselves, our saboteurs and sage powers, honoring our feelings through empathy and forgiveness, choosing hope over fear, recognizing the strength in needing others, and really practicing resilience. They're all interconnected steps, aren't they?
Definitely. All part of a journey towards, well, greater purpose and fulfillment, it seems.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Yeah, here's something to think about. If, as this book suggests, a single moment chosen intentionally can make a, quote, godly difference in your life, how many of those moments might be slipping by? Moments where you could choose empathy or forgiveness or hope or just taking that first small action.
The challenge from the source material seems to be proactive. See that light within yourself, that champion potential, and use your choices consciously. Use them to light up your own path, and maybe, just maybe, the path of others around you too.
A powerful thought to end on. This deep dive was based on excerpts from the book Choose to Be Your Own Champion by Doris Hornstein, published by Morgan James Publishing.
And the full book, of course, has the entire CHOOSE playbook, lots of practical exercises, and many more stories and insights to help guide your own journey towards becoming your own champion.
So if this conversation sparked something in you, if these ideas resonated, maybe make the choice to explore the book further. Now is actually a great time because it pre-launches on Amazon and other places books are sold on October 14th.
That's right, October 14th. Choose to Be Your Own Champion by Doris Hornstein. Picking it up around the launch is a fantastic way to dive deeper into all this.
And maybe one more choice. Once you've had a chance to read it, perhaps apply some of its wisdom.
Consider leaving a review. Sharing your own experience, your takeaways, can genuinely help other people discover this roadmap. It helps them start their own journey towards making more intentional, powerful choices in their lives.